If you're selling your house or apartment, the buyer will likely hire a surveyor to visit the property and conduct a survey before they sign contracts. Even though this is simply the buyer taking precautions to ensure they have the full picture of the condition of the property before they commit to the purchase, this situation can still be unnerving for sellers, as depending on the findings of the survey, it could cause the buyer to pull out, seek to renegotiate a lower price, or for repairs to take place before the sale. So you'll want to make sure the survey comes back with as few conditional issues as possible. Thankfully, over 80% of issues identified on surveys are minor and are usually items which the current owner could have addressed for relatively little cost. As a seller, you want your buyer's survey to be as short as possible so that they have no reason to reconsider buying at the sale agreed price. The good news is there are a few things you can do as a buyer to make sure that this is the case. Most conditional issues listed on a survey are minor or not urgent. However, if there are a lot of them, it can still leave a bad impression for the buyer. After all, 20 small issues is a lot to mentally consider and may lead them to prefer another property over yours. Issues with windows and doors are among the most common things we see on surveys. It could be an internal door sticking, a broken handle, or a window with a damaged seal, but in most cases these can be easily rectified. Make sure all doors and windows open and close smoothly. If any doors are sticking or handles loose, make sure you hire a good carpenter to come around and service or repair all your doors. Even if you need to replace some locks or handles, a working cheap door handle won't be mentioned on a survey, but a faulty expensive one will. If your windows are more than a few years old, it's also worth hiring a window specialist to service and repair your windows. This involves making sure all the hinges are working smoothly, making sure all the handles are locking and the seals are intact, and preventing any unwanted drafts. In most homes, there's usually a couple of €100 worth of improvements which could be made to windows and doors. In most homes, there's usually a couple of €100 worth of improvements which could be made to windows and doors, and doing this work up front might just help get the sale over the line. Whether you have a gas or an oil boiler, it's recommended you have it serviced once per year. Failing to do this will shorten the life of your boiler and will lead to higher bills. Simply having your boiler serviced regularly will reduce the chances of unwanted breakdowns and improve its efficiency. Just like having your car serviced, make sure you keep a record of the service and who conducted it, then make this record available for the buyer and their surveyor. Your gutters and drains help to ensure that water and wastewater are correctly channeled away from your property and into the sewers. In most properties, especially if there are trees nearby, it's necessary to clean your gutters yearly. Failing to do this will allow a buildup of debris, which could end up damaging the gutter and allowing water to get where it shouldn't. Poorly maintained gutters can lead to damage to fascias and soffits, or worse, allow water to penetrate the building. If the drains of the property are not regularly cleaned and maintained, it can lead to blocking and flooding, which can have a detrimental impact on the property. Hiring a professional insured company to clean and maintain your gutters and drains can dramatically extend their life and protect your property from damage. Unfortunately, when people know they're planning on selling their property, they can easily let maintenance like this slip, which can result in a large range of issues which will show up on the survey. You know that back garden light which hasn't worked in 5 years, but you've just learned to live with it? Well, that's another thing that will be recorded on the survey. Most homes have at least a couple of electrical issues which could be addressed by hiring an electrician for an hour or two. By ensuring every electrical fixture in your home is in good working order, it will give less issues on a survey and less likely that an electrician is recommended. This includes everything from lights and sockets to extractor fans. Make sure they're all in good working order, and if not, hire an electrician. This might seem like an obvious one, but it's not uncommon for people to become accustomed to a leaking tap, a broken hot or cold tap, or even a shower which doesn't work properly if there's another one on the property. Have a walk around your house and make sure every single tap and shower turns on and every toilet flushes without issues. If there's any issues, get a plumber out. Provided the repairs are minor, you might only be paying for an hour or two of the plumber's time. A roof covered in moss, a slip and slide deck, or a driveway impervious repair will all be recorded on a survey. These issues may seem like small inconveniences, but if left untreated, they can lead to bigger issues. Each of these are easy jobs to keep on top of, but like some of the other issues, can be things you let slide when you know you're planning to sell your property soon. Make sure you hire a reputable, insured cleaning company to give the entire exterior of your property a good deep clean before you list your property for sale. Doing so will make sure that the potential buyers sense that the property has been well maintained and give less conditional issues for the surveyor to record. When your sale agreed and a survey has been booked, there are a few things you can do to help make it go as smoothly as possible. Ensure all windows, doors and hatches are unlocked, or provide a key for the agent. During the survey, the surveyor will inspect every part of the property. This includes every room and every attic space or cupboard they can access. They'll also open and close every door to look for any conditional issues and ensure they're operating. If the surveyor is unable to access any part of the property, like an attic, it will be noted on the survey that they were unable to access it. This leaves a big question mark for the buyer, as they'll have no idea of the condition. Likewise, if all the windows upstairs are locked, the surveyor will only be able to mention that they appear to be in good condition, which again leaves an unknown for the buyer. If the property has been altered in any way since it was originally built, make sure you have all planning docs and certificates of compliance or exemption ready. These should be shared with your solicitor beforehand, who will pass them on to the buyer's solicitor. The solicitor will then forward any specific questions or concerns they have onto the surveyor so that they can check while on the property. If these are not available, the surveyor will record that the property has been altered and will require the correct documents. The buyer's solicitor will then need to chase this up, which could cause significant delays to the sale. It's not uncommon for us to visit a property and for the surveyor to be unable to access one or more rooms due to the volume of clutter blocking the door or even just completely blocking access. If you are a hoarder, selling your home is the perfect opportunity to start to declutter and let go of some of these items. Estate agents and buyers won't appreciate it on viewings, and surveyors will just need to flag a big question mark if they are unable to access a specific part of the property, all of which could lead you to getting a lower sale price. There are a few things not to do, and honestly, this is just as important as the things to do. Unfortunately, over the last number of years, a few passionate but ultimately unprofessional sellers have led to sales falling through. We really do understand it. You're selling your home and it's something you care about. You've created countless memories here, and it's easy to become defensive when somebody is hired to look for issues with it. But put yourself in the shoes of the buyer. They're making what is likely the biggest financial commitment of their life, and they want to make sure that they're making the right decision. They don't know you or your home, and so they hire a professional surveyor to give their opinion. If you're asking somebody to spend several $100,000 on something you own, you have to afford them the opportunity to do their due diligence. There's absolutely nothing personal with this. When somebody's hired to find as many issues as possible with your home, the urge to keep a close eye on them can be overwhelming. However, this is just a distraction for the surveyor and will likely lead to some awkward situations. You can be on the property if you want, but we recommend letting the estate agent handle access to the property and you go and grab a coffee or a bite to eat somewhere. A rule surveyors operate by is to leave the property exactly as they found it, so when you get back, you won't even know somebody was there. There isn't a house in the country which has not required some maintenance or repairing at some stage, so by all means repair issues, but please don't try to cover up serious issues with the intention of hiding it from the seller. Thankfully, this is a very rare occurrence, but over the last few years, we've seen attempts to cover up water damage without repairing the cause, hide structural issues, and even have some rooms locked to prevent a surveyor from identifying damp. This is unfortunately not an exhaustive list, but surveyors have seen every possible thing you can imagine and they will spot it. When they do, it always leads to a breakdown of trust between both parties. If you're selling your property, chances are you're buying another one too, and so you're going to need your own surveyor. To book your survey with us, go to GetHouseSurvey.ie and click Get Survey Now. Once you book, we take care of everything else and keep you updated every single step of the way, so you always know the exact status of your survey.